But the question you ask yourself is, how much loud is loud and how much soft is soft? But you gave it to me anyway. Where we have the step dynamics, the transition dynamics, and then the accent dynamics. Hello, hi, I am JB Solomon. Welcome to my channel. This is VTS, the vocal tips series on GB Interactive. If you are new to the channel, I want to crave an audience to please subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and leave me comments as well. Thanks to all my subscribers, especially the returning ones. I released first vocal tips series for the year where I spoke about the language of music. Then I ended with the elements of music, and I promised you guys that I was going to pick the elements one by one and go into details on each of them. Finally, I decided to start the series on dynamics, how to sing with dynamics. Once again, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Don't forget to like, share, and leave me comments as well. Some definitions. Dynamics is an expressive element of music that describes how loud or soft a piece of music sounds or is played. Elements of music, of which some are expressive. We'll get into that in a bit. You can also describe it in terms of how the loudness of a musical piece varies. Then finally, you can also describe in terms of how the volume of a sound or a note or even the volume of a phrase or a section of a song varies. Now, it is important that we have this conversation because a good grasp and understanding and application of dynamics to your singing will make your singing very much appreciable by your listeners. Something that will help you leave marks on the heart of people. Because you understanding how to use dynamic means that you're going to understand how to use your emotions, how to understand the message of the song, and communicate it through your emotions, through the way you sound. Okay, whether you are sounding loud or soft or very soft, like you're able to communicate your mood, your feelings. You're able to express the song. Now we'll go straight to discuss how dynamics can be categorized. Personally, I've grouped them into two, which you've already heard me mentioning from the definitions: loud and soft, loudness and softness. And then in terms of the music language, they use Italian words to describe the dynamics of music. And loud is also known as forte, and soft is also known as piano. I don't want to just mention it and let it go like that, so let me give you a small illustration. We'll get into the application proper. So for instance, I'm singing Awesome God by Vashon Michel, one of my favorite songs. I never thought I was worthy of your grace, but you gave it to me anyway. So, if you listen to the lyrics of the song, I never thought I was worthy of your grace, but you gave it to me anyway. I can express this song in a way that makes me feel overwhelmed by this love I'm talking about. So that it's very, much difficult to express because the love is overwhelming. So I might go this way. I never thought I was worthy of your grace, but you gave it to me anyway. I never thought I was worthy of your grace, but you gave it to me anyway. Or I can rather sound, that my mind is blown away, and I was saying, I never thought I was worthy of your grace, but you gave it to me anyway. So there's a difference between the first one I sang where I went a bit soft, and this one when I was sounding a bit loud. But the question you ask yourself is, how much loud is loud and how much soft is soft? And so the people who came before us understood that there can be variations in this loudness and softness. So you can be very soft, which is pianissimo. You can be very, very soft, which is more like you're whispering or something, pianissimo. You can be moderately soft, which is termed as mezzo piano. Then you can be soft piano. Then on the loud scale, on the forte scale, it can be fortissimo, fortissimo, mezzo forte, and forte. I'm sure with the way I described, the piano, the softness, you can also understand how it is being applied on the forte end of the scale. Now, these terms or the understanding of these terms are not, mechanical. The fact that I say it is loud or soft doesn't mean that it's mechanical. When it comes to the application of it, there are ways that you can express it where you are either sounding loud, obviously loud throughout the song, or you are, varying it. They said dynamics is always talks about varying degree of your loudness or softness of a music. So in terms of, changing dynamics in a song, you can categorize it in three ways, where we have the step dynamics, the transition dynamics, and then the accent dynamics. Now, when it comes to the step dynamics, in this case, I am describing it as a form of, transition or a change in dynamics where there is an abrupt change in the dynamic, but you stay there. Let me make it more understandable. For instance, let's say I'm singing me Johnny now, I'm a Jesus, me how me sweet, Mare who sent me. Let's assume that this is loud. Then I decide to switch to me Johnny now, I'm a Jesus, me how me sweet, Mare who sent me. That's like an abrupt change, and I made sure that I ensure that I stayed in the change dynamic there. So let's say I was singing a turnaround can explain this better. So let's say I'm singing never going back, never going back, never going back to the way it was. Never going back, never going back, never going back to the way it was. Never going back, never going back. So I've transformed or I've transitioned from never going back to never going back. So this is step dynamics where I have changed the dynamics abruptly, but I have stayed there. I'm using abruptly and staying there because when it comes to accent dynamics, where you are probably just changing your dynamics on just a phrase or a word, you are likely to come back to the original dynamic. So let's say I'm singing, who can stand against the Lord? No one can. No one will. Who can stand against the Lord? No one can. No one will. So I emphasize on no, then I bring it back. That's accent. I could have said, no one can, but I do, no one can. Now, this one is different from the transitional dynamics. In this case, let me take some water. This is actually the one that we've been used to when we talk about swelling. Yeah, so the transitional dynamics can be grouped into two. You have the crescendo and decrescendo. In crescendo, you are gradually increasing the loudness of the sound. In decrescendo, you are gradually decreasing, the loudness of the sound. Now, when I spoke about step dynamics, in trying to explain it, I mentioned a little bit of the transitional dynamics. Because let's assume that you are singing a turnaround of a song, and then you decide that after every cycle, anytime you repeat the phrase, you increase your volume a little bit. That can be a form of crescendo. You get it? Because when you listen to the song, you notice an obvious gradual rise in the volume or in the loudness of the sound. So, for instance, when we are swapping, usually the beginning notes, the beginning, melody or the beginning progression is such that sometimes we sound a bit, soft or moderately loud, but in our swaps and our further swaps, we start getting louder. That can be a form of step dynamics because you don't usually come back down. Sometimes you do. Even if you do, it can also still be step because when you do, you stay there for the entire phrase. But what is actually happening is that you are gradually increasing the dynamics or the loudness as well. The same happens if you decide to go softer or is stepwise. Then there's that one that we term as swells, where we are doing "Oh, be lifted above all other gods, above all other gods, God, God, God. So that's swell. I was gradually increasing my volume, okay, on the word or on the phrase as a form of crescendo, and opposite it's at a crescendo. This will be all for this particular episode. I'll do the next video where we'll do more applications. I'll do my own personal illustrations. I'll bring songs on board for you to also identify what is happening. Then we'll now begin to learn how to apply it and add color to our music. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and leave me comments as well. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful time. Bye.